Olympic Sliding Center. Now, it's important to tell you, as well as this great crowd, we have a change to our schedule because of the weather conditions in New York State. The only action that we have today, the 2 runs of the women's singles event, cowbells and all, and tomorrow we'll pack in both the women's and men's doubles, as well as the men's singles and the mixed singles and doubles. Fingers crossed that the weather holds for what will be a very, very busy Saturday. Should be a dramatic Friday. You can see the weather in the background. There is snow in the air, plenty of rain as well. The wind has been the major issue so far. And here we have the athletes going through their final warm-ups ahead of the race. The luge will go on. And alongside me, a man of the luge, a 2-time Olympian, Mark Hatton. And what a dramatic weekend we have in store, and dramatic weather as well, Mark.
Well, hello, Dave. Hello, everybody. Yes, I mean, we've had everything this week. We've had snow, rain, and high winds. And I just got a message from the track, actually, from Ken Child, saying, however windy it looks on camera, it's 30 times windier out there on the track right now.
And the wind is the big problem, and it won't stop these athletes, of course. Many different ways of getting yourself ready. I should tell you, by the way, because new fans coming to Luge all the time, exactly where we are. I always like to place us in the world, as it were. Lake Placid's in upstate northeastern New York. The Adirondack Mountains, Essex County is where we are. If you're picturing the state, a map of it, of course you know that map of New York well. North of Albany, south of the Canadian border. That kind of area, close to Wilmington, Saranac Lake, all around there, and many particularly of these US athletes, of course, know this course very, very well indeed. We'll have Mark's traditional POV, his point of view down the course in just a moment. We'll give you that course map as well. Just explain, Mark, if you would, how the weather affects these athletes and why, for example, the wind has caused so many problems here.
Well, we've had so much snow recently as well, and that's one of the big worries for the athletes, is that the wind is blowing right up the track and it blows the snow into the track and it collects, and you actually get little snow drifts forming on the side of the track sometimes. So what's going to happen is the track crew, they're going to sweep every 5 athletes just down the start ramp and out of curve 14 to curve 17, which is where it can get really difficult when it's windy. It's a long straightaway, there's a compression which makes the sled very light as it comes back uphill, and then if the wind gets underneath the sled, it makes it very difficult to control. So it's going to be conditions that these athletes haven't had this week in training. This wind just picked up over the last day, and it's going to be incredibly interesting with the wind and the snow.
It's really interesting to get your perspective. So it's not the wind itself necessarily, it's what the wind does to the snow and therefore what that does to the course that's the issue. So well explained. I'm waiting to see our pictures down the mountain in just a moment. Lots of stretch bands, lots of medicine balls, everything to help these athletes get themselves ready. Winter Olympics have twice been held at Lake Placid, 1932 and 1980. I always remember 1980 when I was young. Eric Heiden's Olympics rather. And Bernhard Glass of East Germany won gold in the men's luge. Vera Zozula won the women's singles. Hans Rinn and Norbert Hahn won the doubles. Only 3 events at those Olympic Games in 1980. We're very much focused here towards the end of 2025. There's the course. Curve 5 there. Mark assessing conditions as always. What are the main challenges here?
I think what's going to be good is it should be pretty consistent with the ice temperatures.
I knew when I asked Mark a question, imminently this would appear. And so it came to pass. Track length 1130, a vertical drop of 128 meters, 16 corners on this women's course. Devil's Highway and then Shady 2, famous Devil's Highway, taking us through the top part of that course from curves 4 to 9. The S's initially, Eventually we head through Benham's Bend into the chicane. Then we move towards that finish line, down the side of a mountain, and here is Mark to talk us through the POV.
It's a shot from men's start here, and this are those top curves we were talking about, where it's so important for the home athletes, especially to be loose in the shoulders. This is the Devil's Highway. And this is shady. This is a signature curve on the track, and this puts us into this long, fast labyrinth. This is somewhere where it can get dicey into 12, and then into Benham's Bend on the straightaway. Now you've got chicanes here as well. You've got to watch out for. It's not dead straight, and that brings you into 17. Almost a reset curve, but then it's very quick through 18 into 19. It's a long, long course, and across the finish line through the braking straight, and there we go.
Beautifully done.
And this temperature, probably the best temperatures we've had all season so far. Actual -2 air, that's quite, well, it's quite unique for this season. And that is going to mean that hopefully we're going to have a consistent ice surface for everybody.
Track record held by Julia Taubitz, who's had a slightly sluggish start to this season. Tatjana Hüfner of Germany with the start record. By the way, Kaya Hatton did wonderfully well to qualify through the Nations Cup. Came 19th to make it into this start list, so Mark will be in nervous dad mode, and she is last out. Caitlin Nash gets us underway. Big names, Hofer, who went so well in Park City, Hannah Prock, who won in Winterberg. The big names, Schulte and Taubitz and Frabel, who'd love a win. And there's the second part of those Nations Cup qualifiers, including Trinity Ellis, and as I mentioned, Kaya Hatton as well. Nice crowd has gathered. Canadian flag there. Couple of Canadian flags making a lot of noise. Much of the track is covered from the snow. As Mark was saying, though, they will still get out and deal with things and try and clear the snow away. It's going to be right now, as we're watching, then after the 5th competitor, the 10th, the 15th, the 20th and the 25th, they'll blow the start ramp and chicane. The sweeping break a minute before Caitlin Nash gets underway.
Caitlin Nash.
There's something for those Canadian fans to cheer. Caitlin 19th in the women's singles in Winterberg, 15th in Park City, 5th in the Nations Cup, and the higher you are in that Nations Cup, it can get you an early start. Summer Britcher will tell you exactly what early starts can mean. Our Park City winner. That was truly remarkable, that event, the women's singles there. Still can't quite work out what happened. Great win for her.
Track is clear to start 3 for Caitlin Nash.
Great pictures, aren't they? Shows you what the cold can do to you. From Whistler, Caitlin Nash, and she will get our Lake Placid weekend underway. To start, the most important thing, a real rhythm track, this very tough on mistakes as she heads through the top part of the course, heads towards that Devil's Highway and starts to pick up speed here.
Yes, got well through there, through the Devil's Highway. And this is shady, the biggest curve on the course. And this is what sets the tone for this labyrinth. You can see her go 11 to 12. Very high in the exit of 12. Manages to get it together for 13. Now this is going to be critical. Into that compression, out of Benham's Bend and safely into 17.
Controlling things pretty well. That minor mistake we saw little higher up the course, but here comes Caitlin Nash. 45.171. You can really sense the weather. I know we're covered, but snow all around here adds to the drama. And the smile from Caitlin Nash. Remember, top 20 will go through to our second run later on this evening.
That's a great shot there of the compression out of 14. As the sled comes down from that curve, it goes deep into that compression and then releases as you go along that straightaway towards 17.
Now for the first time this season, from the AIN, Daria Olesic, fourth in the Nations Cup.
Start 1 for Daria Olsen.
See Sandra Robacha waiting in behind. You have to feel that these conditions affect the athletes. Concentration, technique, so important. So hard to stay focused on the job in hand. Let's see what Olesic can do. She's in the green at the moment. Keep an eye on that clock. When it's green, the athlete out on the track is currently beating the best time. Once it goes red, it's when there's trouble. Olesic's going pretty well at the moment.
Late to 12 and very high, skidding round 13. Getting it back together for 14. This is where it's going to be critical through the chicanes. She makes it through safely to 17, gets a chance to reset in curve 17 into the finish curve. Long, high G-force curve and crosses the line, dropping back behind Caitlin Nash. The individual neutral athlete, Olesic, into second place.
Yeah, she lost time down at the bottom of the course. She was ahead all the way, despite that skid that we saw. That's when she was really high, and it put her in that poor position. She recovered it pretty well, though, didn't she? And there she is, Daria Olesic.
So important for these athletes when mistakes like that happen to stay relaxed, stay calm, keep the body soft. Easier said than done.
Now Sandra Robacha, third in the Nations Cup. There's birthday celebrations in Park City. You might remember she was 19th in the end. Great weekend though in general for Italy, and Robacha very much part of that Italy team. Staying on the right hand side of that ramp. Good position at the start. She's just over this awkward top part as she heads through that Devil's Highway. And now she heads and starts to pick up speed.
That entrance to 11 looking much better. Just a little early on to 13, but most athletes would take that line every day of the week. They're good through to 17.
It's a really good time at the moment, this from Robacha. Now's the time though to try and find that racing line. She's flying here, Robacha. And that is excellent from her, over 3/10 better than Nash. And the Italian takes the lead, and that time could end up looking pretty useful.
Solid run there, as we saw in the labyrinth, and I hope you see that. She had a great start curve. Little high here in the entrance of the finish curve. That's quite costly, because it's going uphill, another one of those uphill curves. But very, very solid opening gambit from Sandra Robacha.
And a green light. Nazane Kaluma of Latvia, second in the Nations Cup. A great result for her. 16th in Vinterberg, 21st in Park City.
Track is clear to start 3 for Zane Kaluma.
Agonizing moments there. Head down. Get the breathing right. Get the focus right. Get yourself centered, the mind on the job, and that's what Kaluma has done here. She's just outside that start time of Robacha. Let's get the sense Robacha's run might end up looking pretty good, but here goes Kaluma.
That's a good line into 10. A little messy up top for Kaluma. Just a little tap before 11. See that high line into 12, just skidding sideways into 13, but deals with it really well, but just going to tap down. Those are those chicanes we're talking about, and if you're on the wrong line there, so difficult to get it back. Early to 18 as well, and now gets it back for the finish curve.
So interesting though, Mark, to watch that high line that she took into the chicane, and it's so hard if you go into the chicane in even a slightly poor position to get that right. Can't really put it right, can you?
You really can't. It's such a critical and unique part of this track. We saw, this is that through the chicanes, you just saw she had that direction to the right and just clips that chicane. And just see how the track is raised on the other side. And again, she handled it incredibly well though, because it put her in quite nicely into 17. But that causes a lot of damage to the clock, as you can see with Kaluma going into 4th place.
Now many people think Emily Fishnella might be the one today. Winner of the Nations Cup. 8th here back in 2023, the last time we were here with the World Cup. 2nd after the first run in Park City, then she faded. She was 19th in the 2nd run, made a big mistake. If she stays mistake-free here, what can Emily Fishnella do? Surely she can go close. She's already in the green, nearly 200ths of a second better than Rabatsha at the start.
Yes, Emily's so good on this track. All the home athletes, that 6-7 combination especially, they build so much time at the top of the track. Little mistake into 11, but just keeps her calm. You see, doesn't dab the feet, and this is a beautiful labyrinth from Emily Fishnella.
You can just see the difference, can't you? The smoothness, the calmness, the quietness on that sled. She stays in the green here, and look at the speed now from Fishnella. Wow, she means business. Nearly 4/10ths better than Rabatsha. And she was over 3/10ths better than everyone else. She knows just how good that was.
This is out of Shady. You see, she just resists the temptation to drop the feet. Just gives him a little tap, gets the sled back online. That's when her heart was probably in her mouth, thinking, what have I done? But she dealt with all that home field advantage. Means Emily dealt with that like the professional she is. Great opening shot from Fishnella. It's a red light. That means she has to have some of the equipment controlled, but she won't mind that after that run.
And as Mark tells us every week, a red light is not as good as a green light, but it's not as bad as a blue light. Dorothea Schwarz, she's having quite a season. 3rd in Winterberg behind Brock and Frabel, then 4th in Park City. The quiet achiever so far in this World Cup season. What can Dorothea Schwarz do? She's up against a very tough run from Fishnella, who wasn't perfect. We know that because we saw that tap, but was very good. And already Schwarz is inside Rabatsha, but is outside Fishnella here as we come through to this latest check. And let's look, 200ths of a second, or 2/10ths of a second rather, outside Fishnella. Goodness me, Fishnella really flew.
She really did. Schwarz hadn't had a lot of runs on this track, but put together a great labyrinth there. Her 12-13 combination especially, one of the best we've seen. And quite rightly into 2nd place. I mean, taking down that time from Emily Fishnella would have been difficult. Dorothea Schwarz, a couple of mistakes in the top of the track as well, but that's put her in a really good position.
And to put this into context, Mark, and I hate asking you difficult questions on air without having primed you, but you'd be surprised if Fishnella's not in the top 3 after this first run with that time. 5 certainly, you'd think, wouldn't you? I know it's hard to predict, but when you look where Schwarz is, for example, in relation to her, you'd be surprised if 5 were better than that time.
Absolutely. If I were a gambling man, I think that would be a worthwhile bet.
See how he dealt with that? Here's our Park City winner, the mighty Summer Britcher. Doubles partner of Emily Fishnella, training base right here in Lake Placid, knows this place like the back of her hand. Can she build on that success in Utah and bring it here to New York State? Summer Britcher to try and back up that special weekend in Park City. A slow start, but now let's see if all of that experience and technical nous can get her close here to her teammate Fishnella. She's made up a little bit of time here, but still behind Fishnaller.
Down the Devil's Highway, Richard just put together a great combination, and it's showing in the clock now, just back by 0.06 of a second, and that's a good 14. Straight shot through the chicanes to curve 17.
Through curve 17 she goes, then heads down the bottom part of this course. Great line there, and just outside the time of Fishnaller, but Britcher has put herself into a good position here. That Fishnaller time still looks good. A smile from Summer. She's right in this race as well.
Great top section from Summer. You see her pressing the position through Shady. And a good exit from Shady to 11. That exit from Shady to 11 is so important because it sets the tone for that labyrinth. And what a great shot that is. You can just see her taking her leg off the Kufan to balance the sled and just gently pushing it in to curve 17. And it's her mum's birthday. Happy birthday, Mrs. Britcher.
Nicely done as well. She knew where the camera was. Barbara Almeyer, there's a pro. 14th in Winterberg, 2 places better in Park City. Police officer from Aldrans in Tyrol.
Had
some good results. 22 last week, Almeyer. So a really good youth career. Trying to translate that into senior success. Could this be the week? See, she looked for that right-hand side, top of the course, the right line to take. Hasn't gone as fast as Fishnaller, but I'm not sure too many will. Where's Almeyer going to place herself as she heads down the Devil's Highway? Just outside the time of Fishnaller, just over 0.2 of a second behind.
Be interesting to see how this 12.13 is. Looks like she'll go early, but she manages to keep it off that right wall. Now this chicane shot, again, not a straight shot, sends her a little late to 17, but deals with it well.
She's losing time here, Almeyer. Went a little bit high there, lost a bit of speed going into the finish. Half a second behind fifth, she'll be disappointed with that.
You know, it's incredible the depth in this Austrian team. Christian Eigenthaler, the head coach of Austria, looks on. What a coaching team that is. Hackel, Eigenthaler, many, many more. But this is that high exit from 12, but you see she kept her cool. And that's so important in that section to just, if you do hit early to 13, just to absorb it, and generally you'll come out okay.
Now, fascinating athlete to come next. Because it's Ashley Farquharson, that big smile, 3rd in Park City. She's already seen Fishnaller set a really good time. Britcher has gone well too. What can Farquharson do here?
Track is clear to start 3 for Ashley Farquharson of Team USA.
So much strength and power at the top of the course for Farquharson. That looks like a really good start from her. In the red at the moment, but we know how good Fishnaller was pretty much all the way through. Look at this though, Farquharson now in the green, inside the time of Fishnaller. This is looking like an excellent run so far.
12.13 works out well as well. Let's see 14. This is going to be critical because she's carrying so much speed. Just bounces in off that chicane. It's not going to cost her much, but she's only got 5 tenths to play with.
Little bit high there, wasn't she? She comes around this final bend. It's going to be mighty close. She's just outside. That little error. 19 just cost Farquharson. She's still right in there.
Tight between the US athletes, as we know, always so good on this track. It's a great shot where you can see her foot just steering, turning in. A little bit late to 11, but dealt with it well, as you would expect on our home track. And this, hopefully we see how the sled interacts with that chicane, just gently pushing her back. But yeah, I think you're right, Dave, that early entrance, well, that transition 18-19, Probably cost her those 11 thousandths, but she knows that she can make that up on the next run, I'm sure.
I must apologise as well to her and her family, because I, force of habit, pronounce her surname in a sort of English public school way. Farquharson. And of course it's Farquharson. I'll get there, Ashley, apologies. Anna Bereiter of Germany. 4th in Winterberg, she was then 11th in Park City, top 10 in that Olympic test event as well. The sports soldier from Bischofwiesen, 7th here in 2023. Bereiter, when she gets it all right, can be very, very capable. Already just outside the time of Fischnaller, who's still leading just from Farquharson, with Britscher in 3rd.
Lots of snow collecting in the track at the moment. That's going to affect these sliders as we go down the order. Very late to 12, skids into 13, but gets it back together for 14.
Even though they're sweeping it and blowing it and brushing it, you would feel that the athletes who have the earlier starts have the advantage. Of course, we'll see that develop throughout the course of this, but Bereiter is 6th at the moment. Only Almayer and Nash and Olisic and Kaluma slower than her. Fischnaller leads the way by a tiny margin from Farquharson.
This is that shot of 12. Now, most of these mistakes in 12, they start in curve 11, where you don't get pushed across to 12. So you go in late and you go high. Or you go too early, you get knocked away, and then the G-force pushes you high on the exit. But most of these things in the labyrinth, they start a couple of curves before.
So just a quick recap here as we're preparing for the next sleds. Emily Fischnaller.
Hear the announcement.
Summer Pritchard, Team USA sitting on the
just doing what we said. The 10 athletes have gone, so they're just doing what they do down the course, clearing away those little drifts that can
track is now clear to start 3 for Verena Hoffer.
Start to develop as described by Mark. Verena Hoffer, one of the biggest smiles in Park City. Great success in that team relay, 2nd in the women's singles. She has every chance here, showing great form at the start of this season. Hoffer, you can see her looking to the right-hand side of that start ramp, trying to get herself into position. She's 8,000th of a second outside Emily Fischnaller, a little bit high there. Now she heads down the Devil's Highway, Hoffer. Now she's into the red in comparison with that time of Fischnaller, but only just here.
Yeah, not dropping much, just 19 thousandths. Let's see how this classic transition there straightens the sled up into 13. With 14, she's going to keep calm here, and she does. She pushes it into 17.
Love the elegance about the way that she goes about her business. Just a little skid there from Hoffer. She's going to be outside the time of Fischnaller. She's going to be in 5th at this point. 11 athletes have gone now. Round of applause from the mighty Zergler. But Hoffer, well, is going to have to go rather better in the second run here.
Yeah, we're in a position as well where these athletes, bit of a wonky start there. You saw she pulled to the left, had to get the sled over to the right. And this was that curve 11, just going on a little early, but dealt with it well through that labyrinth, through 12-13. But yeah, I think we're just seeing this home field advantage from the US athletes, knowing those little tricks, those little idiosyncrasies down the track that are almost invisible to the naked eye, but they know where they are.
And when it's a sport that's timed to 1,000th of a second, every idiosyncrasy counts. Hannah Prock, the Winterberg winner, 5th in Park City. Already a 2-time Olympian. Could she peak and then peak again? She's our World Cup leader at the moment, Hannah Prock. She'd love to keep hold of that bib. Let's see how she started here. 11th fastest start, not the beginning that she would have wanted here, Hannah Prock. A little bit bumpy there on the way down. The snow looks to have got a little bit stronger as well. The conditions difficult now for these athletes.
affects your vision where it comes into the track. See, she just straightens it up going into 13. Very close to the right wall, keeps her calm, gets through to 17. But Proc having to find something through these bottom curves. But like I say, this finish curve goes uphill, so that slows down as well. And Proc into 7th, half a second back almost off Fishnala. Tough day for Hannah Proc down the track. No big mistakes. As we say, those little details just adding up down the track. And probably the snow building in the track, as you can see with that shot. She drives straight through that snowdrift and here into another snowdrift.
Some big names to come still. Apayoda next, then Schulte, Taubitz, Marg, Frabel.
Yeah, did you see that? She hit a rock in the track or something. You saw a spark come off her steel. So the coaches are going to be getting that sled back in the truck to try and get those steels back in top condition.
So only 20 of these athletes will make it for the second final round, reverse order by rank. So as we get deeper into the second heat, we'll be able to point that out.
Loving the guy in the PA. He's got a really good sort of deep voice and sincerity about it.
Through the field.
Track is clear to start 3 for Candia Apperhold of Latvia.
Nicely timed as well. 9th in Vinterberg, Candia, 10th in Park City. Away she goes, the spikes on those gloves give her the purchase for that start to try and settle into position as quickly as you can. Just over 300ths of a second outside Emily Fishnala, who still leads from Ashley Farquharson from Summer Bridger. At the moment, it's a USA 1, 2, 3. Apayoda looking for a good run to put Latvia in that top 5 if she can.
Yeah, it's a good top section from Apayoda. Straightens it up into 13 as well. She's just back by 1.5 tenths. Oh, that's a nice exit as well from 14. Just gets pushed in early to 17.
Dropping a little bit of time. That looked a bit ragged as she heads round into that final curve. And 5th for Apayoda. That's a really good run given where she was. She's ahead of Hofer and Proc and Bereiter. She'll be happy with that, Candia.
Yeah, definitely a good position to attack from for run number 2. See, very high in the entrance to the finish curve. That's 17, 18, 19 transition, that curve 18. It's so short and it comes so quickly that to get the perfect transition from 18 to 19 is one of the more underrated areas on the tracks. But those that know that can cost you so much time down in that bottom section.
Lisa Schulte, 5th in Vinterberg, the Austrian, 9th in Park City. She was 3rd in that Olympic test event, remember. Won the mixed singles in Vinterberg with the mighty Jonas Müller. Just turned 25. 2024 gold in the World Championships.
Track is clear to start 3 for Lisa Schulte of Austria.
Very, very good. 5th here in 2023, so has form at the track. Into position nice and early there. Looked a smooth start that from Lisa. Let's see how quick it was. Just outside Fishner, in fact well outside. The 11th fastest, and you can hear that wind getting up. You can feel the weather all around this Lake Placid course. It's so dramatic. And Schulte just over 500ths outside Fishnala here.
Yeah, Schulte losing a bit of time in the top. Not a great start and still losing some time, back by 700ths. Manages to negotiate those tricky chicanes. 17 looks good, but something needs to happen in the bottom of the track. Much better curve, finish curve through the finish line into 3rd place. Schulte putting on the afterburners down that bottom section of the track. Great sliding.
Yeah, you said something needed to happen, and it did happen. So she breaks up that USA top 3. Britcher down to 4th. And the funny thing is, Mark, you're looking at those splits and thinking, wow, she's over a 10th behind. She's going to be nowhere here, because normally you'd feel that was the case. But Fishnala was so quick that even over a 10th behind had her in 3rd. Fishnala's time is going to take some catching here as this course slows up a bit.
Incrementally getting closer to that.
Here's one of those who could overhaul it though. Taubitz, second here in 2023. In terms of the singles, disappointing so far. 12th in Winterberg, 8th in Park City. This, remember, the very best in the world, as that bib tells you.
Track is clear to start 3 for Julia Taubitz of Germany.
Here goes Julia Taubitz then. Could today be the day she ignites her season? Banging out that rhythm on the ice. It's a little bit ragged in that opening turn, and 9,000th behind Fischnaller, so a useful start from Taubitz, and we know how technically good she is to set up that speed down at the bottom of the track. Taubitz level in terms of time with Fischnaller. This so far is a really good run from Taubitz, and now she's into the green mark.
Taubitz starting to build, just bumps onto 13. How much will that cost her? 13 thousandths. And it's put her into the red, that little bump onto 13. 6 thousandths of a second to play with.
Needs to be quick here. We know Fischnaller was. Can Taubitz fly as well? It's going to be time. Third, still behind both Fischnaller and Farquharson, but every chance going into that second run.
That 12-13 transition, so tough for these athletes. Says Taubitz on the start. As you said, she had a little bit of a choppy start curve. You see the sled just bouncing to the left there. But this is what cost Taubitz. Just dropping out, bumping on early. And sled probably skidding slightly through that curve, which is like putting the brakes on. But still, what a place to attack from for Taubitz now.
And given how she's gone so far this season, that feels more like her. Natalie Marg, 5th in that Olympic test event. And I know one or two people who feel she could go really well for Switzerland in Milan Cortina in February. 6th here in 2023 and 7th in both races so far.
Start 3 for Natalie Marg of Switzerland.
It's today the day Natalie puts everything together. Feels like she hasn't been far off doing that. Again, she looked a little bit bumpy at the start. It's only 12th fastest, so she's given herself a lot to do here. Natalie Marg, Devil's Highway time for her. She negotiates that, but now she can't really afford any more mistakes.
Such a natural, relaxed slider, Natalie Marg. But that time losing in the top, a little skid into 12 as well as she tried to correct the line. She's only a 10th back. Marg does what she needs to do down that straightaway as well. So she's putting together a good bottom section. This is where it's critical, and she hits it just right into the finish curve. Marg into 6th, not bad at all.
Well, you'd certainly say not bad after the start.
Yeah, absolutely. And that mistake through the labyrinth as well, between 11 and 12. See the sled just skidding in there as well. Actually gave her quite a nice exit of 12, but not, unfortunately not at the expense of a skid. And there we see that inch perfect finish curve, one of the best we've seen. Really nice from Marg through the bottom section.
Halfway through heat number 1.
Frabel, another of the big contenders to go next, the powerful German.
Spectators standing on the wall, standing on railings, leaning over, trying to touch the ice. Just for your safety, we ask that
Love
you
the
not
announcement.
do that. Thank you.
Don't lean over the railings and touch the ice. I mean, why'd you have to be told that? 2nd in Winterberg, 6th in Park City. Merle Frabel.
Track is clear.
Big challenger here.
For Mariel Frabel.
She won that Olympic test event. She'll be one of the favourites for gold in Italy early next year. What about Frabel's start then? 9 thousandths outside Fischnaller. Frabel meaning business And looking really smooth down here so far. Picking up pace at the top of the course. She looks good, but 300s, nearly 400s outside Fishnella.
Yeah, Frabel putting together a good Devil's Highway and then through the labyrinth as well. So she's doing what she needs to do here. That start from Frabel looked good on the clock, but I feel she lost something through 5, 6, 7. And this is a tricky combination. Gets it right, but I don't think it's going to be enough. And it is into 4th for Frabel, but just a 10th back. This is going to be so tight on run number 2.
Yeah, it might not be enough to lead, but it's enough to be in position, isn't it? And now Britcher is down to 6th. Fishnella and Farquharson for the USA 1st and 2nd. Then Taubitz, Frabel, Schulter, Britcher. Super consistent Marg in 7th.
Dealt with that late entrance to 12 really well. You see it just getting thrown up there. So 17, 18 and that 18, 19 transition looked like she had messed it up, but managed to save it with quick body movement and just real experience.
Tove Kahala did not finish in Park City. Had that crash on the 2nd run, 13th in Vinterberg, the Swede. We're back now into the Nations Cup qualifiers. She was 6th in that Nations Cup earlier on today. Doesn't necessarily mean that the top 5 stays where it is now, but there's more chance of that. You'd feel that Fishnella and Farquharson and Taubitz and Frabel and Schulter are likely to be the top 5, but anything can happen. Here's Kahala. She's very, very capable. If she gets everything right here. 16th fastest start, though, from Tove Kahala is a disappointing beginning. Looked a little bit high there. And into the Devil's Highway she goes. She nearly lost control there, but recovers the position well.
Well, that was scary from Tove there through the Devil's Highway. You've got to get yourself set up right for Shady, but putting together a good labyrinth here as well. Stretching out that right chicane, just managing to negotiate that. And 17 good.
Yeah, she's not going to be challenging Fishnella's time, but her aim will be top 20, 18th as things stand right now. Slowest run we've seen, nearly a second slower than our leader Fishnella, and that is disappointing for Tove.
This was that transition from 6 to 7. So important to get that right. You see it just drops her out and she skids. That snow, when it collects under the steels of the sled, can make the sled really unstable. And it breaks away from the sled. But what you know with Tove is you'll get nothing but 100% commitment and some of the best body position on the circuit.
So here's Ember Susko. Slightly disappointed to have been 7th in the Nations Cup, but of course with the sport of margins. She was 10th in Vinterberg, 14th in Park City. The 20-year-old Canadian who's learning all the time. She was 14th at that Olympic test event. She is seriously good, but it will be over the course of this season about consistency for Ember Susko. You can see her making that little adjustment with the foot on the start ramp, the 16th fastest start there. Struggling a bit with this start now, these athletes. Susko, the latest to be slow down that start ramp.
Ember, though, doing a really good job staying out of the snow on the sides, keeping the sled in the middle. It's one of those tactics in a snow race that if you can do it, it can make a big difference. Late to 12, but deals with it, just softens up the body on the exit, manages to absorb the mistake. And a little wobble into 17.
Yeah, just a little touch, wasn't there, on that right wall. Now she comes round that final turn, Susko. 14th for her, might be enough to be in that second run.
Yeah, looking at Ember's Nations Cup, she slid so well in that Nations Cup. It was so tight amongst the top 10. This little wobble you see, you go up onto that chicane, and the direction it gives you is so abrupt to the left-hand side. And remember, the sled's not under any pressure there. There's no G-force pushing down on the sled. So it's really difficult to correct the sled and get it back on the line you want.
That magic number. We'll see how the German slider, Anke Janicki, does in her
Anke
next
Janicki
run coming up.
to come next.
Track is clear to start 3 for Anke Janicki.
Our announcer is brutalizing some of these German names. Here's Anke Janicki anyway. 6th in Winterberg. 20 years of age. So talented. More than capable of putting something special together here. But again, another slow start. Just a sense maybe that the weather is getting to the track enough to slow some of these athletes up. These late starters just struggling a bit at the moment.
Yeah, choppy through the Devil's Highway. Remember, some of these young athletes a little bit late into 11 there as well. Let's see how she deals with this transition. Keeps it low in 12. That's what you've got to do when you mess up the entrance. But if you see that spark again coming out of the track, there's some concrete there or something that's going to affect the stills.
Whoa!
And she's going to crash into the finish curve. And she's off the sled. The DNF for Janicki. So close to holding on. But we'll see that in a second.
Well, the first concern is that she's okay and she looks okay. But that's the end of her weekend. Here's the error. Here's how it happened, Mark.
See that high exit off 18. You go late into 18. There's no curve. You just run out of curve. I've done that myself, and it happens very quickly. As I say, it's a place on the track that doesn't get the attention sometimes it deserves. The 18-19 transition. She gave a good account of herself up till then. See, these junior athletes, they don't get a lot of junior races here in Lake Placid. So when they make the step up to seniors and they're doing 5-6 training runs maximum, it's really tough for them to figure out the little tricks and these strange little quirks that a track like Lake Placid has.
Love seeing those dramatic pictures of how the track lit up, stands out against the night sky. It's fantastic. There they are down by the finish. I must say, when we saw the slow motion of Janicki's crash there and you saw the position of her right leg, I'm delighted that she's okay, because that was nasty. An awful lot of weight being put on that right leg as she came off and slid down the track. She'll be bruised, but she's okay.
2 minute warning.
It's just going to be a delay here, so Alina Botta is waiting. Top 10 in Winterberg. As if it wasn't hard enough having these little delays. They've all got their processes, but it's hard when you're expecting to go at a certain time and your process gets slowed up.
It really is, and that 2 minute warning for the athlete.
Off comes the coat. Remember, I asked a fighter once all about his pre-fight routine, and he said, I don't have one. You know why? Because routines can be broken, and if you're settled into a routine and then that routine goes away because of something like this, it can really throw you. Makes a lot of sense, but everyone does things in a different way. She looks okay, nice and calm and settled. Asked for help from elsewhere. As I said, 8th in Winterberg, 17th in Park City. 9th in the Nations Cup, which for her is slightly disappointing. Very likable athlete, Alina.
Track is clear to start. Alina Botta, Latvia.
How much is it slowed up? How difficult is it going to be? Botta's turn in Lake Placid. Just 2 thousandths outside Fishneller's time. Botta a little high there, but as she heads into the Devil's Highway, Botta going really well at the top of the course. What's the next split? She's lost A little bit of time, just under 800s behind, but this is a great run from Alina Botta so far.
Do wonder if that cold wind blowing up the track is actually making the ice harder. Here we go, 14. Clips that chicane as well, but gets through it well. Good labyrinth further on from Botta as well. This is exactly where Janica crashed. The Botta getting round nicely.
For the second and final run.
Botta 10th. More than good enough to take her into the second run. Didn't quite build on that start as she would have liked, but still very good from Alina Botta, given the conditions, given her start position.
Saw that little wobbly settle as she got in the sled, and you could see actually when she was paddling down the ramp, the snow coming off of the ramp as well. This is that area where the athletes have been hitting something in the track that's making the steel spark. Looks like the track crew here, who are an incredibly hard-working bunch, have managed to get that rock or whatever it was out of the track.
Well, we watched the US athletes go really well. Here's the fourth of them, Emma Eriksson at the moment. Fishnala leads, Farquharson second, Britcher sixth. A turn of Emma Eriksson, whose home track is Park City, but second in the Junior Nationals in Lake Placid last year behind Sophia Gordon. Knows the track. Knows every inch of it. 17th fastest though on that start ramp, so work to do here for Emma Eriksson. The time of her teammate Emily Fishnala is the one that she's chasing right now, but she's over 1/10 of a second behind it. Can she hold things together in this middle section to set up a fast bottom of the track?
Well, doing everything right now. That beautiful 11-12 transition, going nice and early to 12, and this is into 17. Now this is where she really needs to stretch out, find something in the bottom of the track.
Is it there for Eriksson? She made up any time, she hasn't, and she's down in 18th. And still with 8 to go. You'd have to feel she's vulnerable, faster than only 3.
He said that the Americans are so good on this track. And you say, yes, the time didn't quite match the beauty of that run, but what a lovely run from Eriksson. There were small mistakes up top. Those would have cost her. But in those critical sections through 11, 12, 13, 14 to 17, Eriksson looking every inch the home athlete.
Margita Sirsnina of Latvia didn't finish in Park City, crashed on the first run. 11th in the Nations Cup here, so confidence already rebuilt. The target really has to be sort of 16, 17, where Almayer and Nash are to guarantee yourself top 20 to get into that second run. A reminder of how it works. 30 athletes go in the first run, then whittled down to 20 in reverse order for the second run. This is Sirsnina. Where's she with regard to Fishnala's time? She's over 2/10 outside it at the moment, Mark.
Bumping early onto 11. This is where she's got to be absolutely inch perfect. She gets it back. Very late entrance to Shady as well. Just clipping that chicane. She's airborne going into 17.
She did so well to retrieve that. It cost her time. And again, she struggles there. More time gone and more again than 22nd. And Sirsnina. And a shake of the head tells you everything you need to know.
This is it. You see, she gets that right direction. Just clips that tiny chicane. Now, it doesn't look like much, but if you catch a little bit of ball as well, it shoots you aggressively towards the left side. And they're a good foot in the air and doing a great job getting the sled back under control, Sirsnina.
Track is clear to start 3 for Nina Zugler of Italy.
Nina Zugler, daughter, man we've already seen today, the legendary Armin Zugler. 16th in Park City. Improving all the time. Turns 25 during those winter games in February. 22nd here in terms of her start time, though. Slightly disappointing from Zergler, and a mistake there as well.
Yeah, you fall out of those top curves, it costs a lot, it's so flat up there. This is the exit of Shady. That's a good 11 in, and 12 looks good as well. She's putting together a really nice labyrinth here, but 14 to 17 is where it's been tricky, and just perfect down the middle out of 14 to 17.
Negotiating the bottom part of the course really well here, Zergler. She might have just pushed herself into that top 20. She has 17th. Gives her every chance of making it through to the second run, Zergler.
This was that entrance into Shady. So she had those problems in through the Devil's Highway. When that happens, Shady's a big curve, so you want it to be right as you're going in, because there's a lot of space to mess up in that curve. Zergler with that beautiful 14 to 17. It'd be nice to see that again, because that's as good as we've seen it done all day from Nina Zergler. I must say it's quite nice to see Zergler, Proc and Hatton on the start list together as well.
Start 3 for
Love it.
Veronica of Argentina.
Well guided. Here's Veronica Ravenna. Whistler-based Argentine from Buenos Aires. Chocolate maker, amongst other things. Extremely good slider. Qualifying again through the Nations Cup, 13th. 25th though in terms of her start here, so already a lot of work for her to do, and she was a little bit bumpy there as well.
Veronica, one of the athletes that missed the Winterberg World Cup, came out here for a spot of extra training. She made that big mistake in the start curve, but you can see by this labyrinth, that patience, that timing that we know Veronica's got. Just coming to the fore through the fast parts of the course.
Here she comes then, Ravenna. Where's she going to finish? Outside the 20. So she will not be sliding again. But getting into the 30 by the Nations Cup is her challenge at the moment.
And when you think from such a small nation, you know, a one-person team, she's such a natural slider. She's got such great feeling on the sled. I coached her in the 2016 Youth Olympics, and she's always been so impressive considering the resources that Argentina have got.
There she was 7th there, wasn't she, at Lillehammer? Moved to Canada, and she was 6th. But yeah, Buenos Aires, how many people in Buenos Aires know what the luge is? Not many, I would have thought, in terms of percentages now. Here's Trinity Ellis, 14th in the Nations Cup. She was 15th in Winterberg and 18th in Park City, so she'll be aiming for top 20, aiming for the second run, and she believes she's got every chance. Her target right now is Daria Oleszczyk, the neutral athlete. Looks a good line there from the start for Trinity. 19th at the moment in terms of that start. Fischnaller still leads, and surely Fischnaller is going to be going last in that second run. Ellis just a little bit high there, but it's a good run she's putting together here. Just under 2/10 outside Fischnaller's time at the moment.
Yes, Trinity just going a little high in the exit of 12, but you know that Trinity Ellis on her day is easily a top 10 slider. Such a relaxed slider, very calm under pressure. Late into 18 though, similar to Janecki, but she deals with it well.
It's cost her a little bit of time. She was up sort of 13th, 14th, and ends in 19th. 4 sliders to go, so Trinity is still vulnerable here.
The foot just popping off the coupe in there. This was that 12-13 transition. You see she just relaxes, absorbs the bump, keeps the sled going where she wanted it to. Such good Canadian support here in Lake Placid, and the Canadians obviously had a lot of training here as well.
So, Olesic misses out. It's now Emma Eriksson in 20th. So the USA contingent will be nervous. Busatoyu went well in those mixed singles in Vinterberg with Valentin Cretu. She made a bit of a mess of that first turn though. Lost a bit of speed there, Busatoyu. Now she settles herself, but wonder what that will have cost her here. We look at that Fishnell time, but we're more concerned really about the split and how far she is outside. Nearly 3/10 already.
Very low line round. Shady just bumps before 11. Puts her in nicely with 12, but skidding through the labyrinth here, Busatoyu. So this is going to be critical for her down the chicanes. Saw she was heading to the right. She arrested that as quickly as she could. Great correction from Busatoyu.
She may have just picked up speed down the bottom part of the course. She's well outside Fishnell. She's well outside the top 20. Still Eriksson holding on. 3 athletes to go. 2 Ukrainians and then you know who.
Yeah, Busatoyu, you see that low line into curve 10, into Shady. That gives you lots of height on the exit, and when that happens, it pushes you so early to that right wall before 11. As we said earlier, that curve 11, it's that curve that sets the tone for the next 4 curves. It's such a critical curve to get right, that transition from Shady to 11.
So it'll be Tunitska, Smaha, then Hatton.
Track is clear. 2, start 3.
Emma Eriksson, 20th at the moment. She is 7/10, just over, outside Fishnell's time. If you're interested in looking at these splits and seeing what the athletes are aiming at, anything inside 7/10 plus on that clock will get you in the top 20, because that's what this is all about now. Tunitska, 20th in Park City. She was just outside in Vinterberg. She's always there or thereabouts, just like her teammate Smaha. What sort of time can Juliana put up here? Just over 2/10 outside, but the problem is that loss of time is often compounded down the course.
Very late to 12, almost to the roof on the exit. Manages to save it somehow. And just bumping that chicane, manages to get it into 17, but she's 7/10 back.
Well, she's exactly the length of time that Eriksson was back, but surely Tunitska is going to lose time, is she yet? It always felt that way. Too many mistakes. 2 athletes to go now. Only Olena Smaha and Kaya Hatton can deny Emma Eriksson the second run now.
This is that late entrance to 12. You see she's almost up to the roof there. Gets the shoulders back on the exit. That stabilizes the sled and gets away with it. Here we see that right-hand chicane as well. I thought she dealt with this incredibly well, considering. Just pushing her a little bit late, but she just brings it back across to 17. But the damage was done from that high exit line from 12. Such a likable slider though, and as you say, always there or thereabouts.
So here goes Smaha, 18th in the women's singles in Vinterberg, 24th in Park City. Olena makes an adjustment there, gets into position. Didn't look as smooth as she might have done at the top of the course. Let's see how that's affected her time in this top part of the course as she goes through the Devil's Highway. So with 2/10 outside Fishnell.
Going late into 11. How's this going to affect her 12? She's late into 12 as well. And she just taps it before 13. Keeps her calm though. It's a better result than her teammate.
Smooth Smaha needs to find a good line here to pick up time if she can down the bottom of the course, but it's not going to be enough. Over a second outside. So Emma Eriksson is 20th, and only the daughter of my co-commentator can deny her. Kaya Hatton to go next. It's nervous dad time, Mark.
It is indeed. Smaha with a really solid finish curve there. See, that's a good line through finish here. Flat, and gave her a wonderful exit towards the finish line.
Well, as has become traditional, I'm going to let you do this. Kaya Hatton with a big smile, final moments of focus. Done brilliantly to get into this 30. Could she make the 20? What can I say? But over to Dad.
Good start from Kaya. She looked psyched up on the start there. Good smooth start curve as well. Kaya Hatton setting the tone for her run there from the very fast Whistler track in Canada, where she learned her skills. And down the Devil's Highway, get into 11. This is where she's been working hard. In 12-13, again in 13-14. This will be critical. She just needs to keep her calm into 17, and she does. Just 8/10 back for Hatton. 18-19, a little high on the exit, but deals with it beautifully. Kaya Hatton crossing the finish line into 29th position, 1.4 seconds back. But in the first World Cup she's qualified for from a Nations Cup, she can be thoroughly proud of herself. It was a lovely top section. This was where some of the damage was done, just catching that chicane. But look at this correction. Kaya Hatton, calmness under pressure from a slightly biased dad.
There's a new text message alert, Kaya. Great stuff from Kaya, and a big smile from her. And of course, she's got so much time in front of her to learn. She won't make the top 20 here, but to qualify for a World Cup race is no mean feat. Well, we thought Fishdalla might lead, didn't we, after she went down? And she does have the lead from Farquharson. Taubitz looks a big threat. I think the Americans, when you see Taubitz and Frabel third and fourth, particularly Taubitz, who doesn't have much time to make up. The three of those, though, had 1/10 of a second over Frabel. And there's the rest of our qualifiers. Emma Eriksson last amongst them. Hannah Prock, our winner in Winterberg, is as low as 13th. Kaya 29th. Anka Jenica, the one who did not finish. Daria Olesik, the neutral athlete, the unlucky one who's just outside the top 20. So that was a story of our first run from these women's singles. And of course, as they try and get the course ready here, we will take a short break, allow them to do that, and then we will be back in about half an hour's time for the second run. We shall see you there. It's going to be a thriller, this. The top three well clear, but can anybody make their mark on them? Let's find out. See you in about half an hour's time. Don't go anywhere.